Fact is, Yogi is a very strong local face in Uttar Pradesh. There was a certain Yogi vote in the UP election, Zaka. There's a certain Bhupendra Patel equation within Gujarat where he's seen as a good guy. He's a clean leader. Bommai Basavara, did he even have that kind of a traction which was so positive?
Well, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but I'm just saying as a leader.
Nobody says bad things about him except that. So I spent half a day with him.
Yeah.
I spent half a day with him, first at his personal residence, then at his official residence. And this is election season, right? This is campaigning at its peak. I didn't see a single BJP party worker. Not even a hanger-on, Forget about somebody who's just coming there as a... It was just the security personnel and it was his personal staff. And I think that says something. And the next day, I went to Varna to meet Siddaramaiah. And that was a completely... I mean, I've not seen that kind of craze for a politician. Of course, Mr. Modi's roadshow was very, very popular on Saturday. But the Friday that we went to Mysore, DP and I went to Mysore, it was... I mean, the only other politician I've seen that kind of madness for is Jayalalitha. In
comparison,
the recent past, in comparison. Because it's like almost cult-like. It was like almost like a film star. Yeah. In fact, he was campaigning with Shivraj Kumar, who's a big name in the Kannada film industry. But people were not there to, see Shivraj Kumar. They were there to see Siddaramaiah. No, one of the myths I think which will break in this election is this whole Lingayat vote is breaking up, or the Lingayats are moving away from the BJP. Let's be very, very clear about this. The Lingayat vote in Karnataka is Yediyurappa's vote. The Lingayats are voting for the BJP because of Yediyurappa. The only time the Lingayats have gone away from the BJP was in 2013 when Yediyurappa split. He formed his own party. That's why all of these Lingayat belt seats, instead of saffron, you see blue, right? So the Yediyurappa vote, because this time his son has been accommodated, and I think he's sent out that message very clearly to his caste and community folks that, look, my son has been accommodated. I have voluntarily stepped down as chief minister. I think the community vote will, by and large, stay with the BJP.
Okay.
Can I add a thing about Prime Minister Modi one more time? In this case, I don't think it's going to be so much about whether he can swing the state, but I think if he can bring the BJP to better seats, that in itself is the PM Modi factor.
But I'm just asking, there, on the seats, and since you've got your hands on the wall, sir, let's bring in the wall. See, the Congress was at 80 the last time around. Yeah. But when the shift happened, the defections happened, they actually slipped into the late 60s, high 60s, 65, 67. Yeah. Okay. Now, they have to traverse a far greater journey if they have to get to 120. That means they've got to not just gain from the BJP, they also got to gain from the JDS. Yeah. If they have to get to 120, let's bring in everybody, Rohini and all of you weigh in once Zaka gets this on the wall. Where do you think the Congress will make those numbers? Because they will have to hold their 65 seats plus get another 50-odd seats. That's what they'll have to do.
No, I'm very clear it'll be in southern Karnataka. It'll be in Old Mysore. And it'll be largely at the expense of the JDS. One of the things why the BJP has not been able to, come to power on its own in Karnataka is because they are largely, I wouldn't say absent, but their presence in Old Mysore is very, very minimal. It's very, very negligible. And they've been trying to make inroads into the Vokaliga bastion, trying to project Vokaliga leaders like Ashok and Sudhakar and so on. But I don't see evidence that the Vokaligas are shifting their loyalties from the JDS to the BJP. And both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar come from this belt. One represents the Gaudas, the other represents the other backward classes. I think this region, the messaging that's gone is you've had chief ministers from outside of Old Mysore for the last 10, 12 years. You get a chance to elect a chief minister. I think I saw both DKS's campaign and Siddaramaiah's campaign. Both of them were saying that the next chief minister will come from here. And I think that is something that will resonate in this region. And the polar opposite was happening in the JDS's campaign because, Kumaraswamy was not really campaigning as much, certainly not as much as what he did last time. Old man Gowda was campaigning. He was in a wheelchair. He's 94 years old. But how much can a 94-year-old campaign? I think the sense in the Vokaliga community was also that this time it'll be the Congress's vote. And mind you, in Old Mysore, it's always been Congress versus JDS.
But was it also that they realized that it's about stability? They would rather go for, they have played the role of kingmaker and become king in multiple cases. Yeah. They have done business with the BJP, also with the Congress. They would rather go with a party which will have a clear mandate.
So last time what happened was Kumar Anna became this thing. They wanted to vote for Kumar Anna. They wanted to make Kumar Anna chief minister, right? And that happened.
Yes.
That happened. None of us were expecting that a party with 37 seats would find a chief minister and a party with 80 seats would back it. But Kumar Anna became chief minister. And then there was all kinds of issues between JDS and Congress. The next Lok Sabha elections, they ended up getting just 2 seats. So, and most importantly, the family itself was not on the same page. Just on that one Hassan seat, they were not able to agree. I think the JDS will lose quite a bit in this election.
I tell you, Aman, last time around, it was Devegowda versus HD Kumaraswamy. Saying Devegowda leaning towards one side, HD Kumaraswamy swing. But despite that, they got 37 seats. They are shrinking in that region. But they were not actively campaigning there. Still the same autos doing the rounds. But somewhere in that Mandya, Mysore, Hassan region, there is no taking over, moving away from the JDS. You think that's going to happen? And even if 57, may say the Congress wins, say 25, 26 seats compared to 17 last time. So they add 10 seats more. You think that's enough to get to that 115 number?
BJP, Anand, clearly doesn't want JDS to collapse in Karnataka. BJP doesn't want that at any cost.
JDS, yes.
If the JDS collapses, Congress is forming the government. You know, it's very clear in Karnataka. Another very interesting point I picked from a Congress leader in Karnataka was that, you know, we all in the media, he said you are all saying that the Bajrang Dal was a big faux pas, but you don't realize that this also unites the Muslim voter in Old Mysore, which had traditionally always voted along with the Vokaligas for the JDS. Maybe the Muslim voter, even in Old Mysore, is going to vote for the Congress because of that Bajrang Dal point. And that may be the reason why Congress gets a big hold in the Old Mysore region and forms the government. So I think both spins are being given now to that.
So, but Old Mysore ke saath, Rohini and Harish, the Congress will also have to make big inroads in Hyderabad, Karnataka, coastal Karnataka. If they have to get to that 115 number on their own, or even what the mega poll of polls shows as 104 or 108. Rohini.
Well, if you could just repeat the question because I couldn't hear you very clearly.
Yeah, I'm asking you, where all will the Congress have to make deep inroads? Because they have to go from 65 to 115.
Right. So they seem to have been gaining in areas like especially, and I agree with the regions that our senior reporters also have been talking about. There is Old Mysore region, central Karnataka, but we should also not forget the fact that they will gain in certain parts of coastal Karnataka as well. So this is also the reason being there are fresh new faces that the BJP has fielded, so has the Congress, but the Congress candidates seem to have done a lot more groundwork than the BJP leaders themselves. But at the same time, if you look at the way that it is always said, and it is traditionally seen also through surveys, that whichever party does well in the Old Mysore region tends to form the government in Karnataka. And this time, the Congress seems to have made a lot better inroads in the Old Mysore region. And I agree with Aman also that the consolidation of the Muslim votes, especially after the Bajrang Dal issue, is also what has resonated on the ground as well. There is a feeling that those people who would vote for the JDS traditionally would also look at the Congress. But this time, if you look at the way the choice of the voter is in that Old Mysore region between JDS and Congress, they feel that the Congress is a better party to vote for this time. Also because they feel that in terms of a small number, JDS is a much smaller number and will only be a kingmaker, but never the king.